Welcome to the PP. I am your host, Joseph, with a special guest today, Sarah Moss.
Hey, thanks for having me at your PP.
You didn't have to say it that way.
Okay, that's what you said.
So. I mean, to be fair, that's what it's named. But
yeah.
She's been doing photography for quite a while now. And I'm super excited about this episode. I've been doing video for at least 7 years now. And this is pretty much everything I would want to know about a wedding if I were to get married again.
Yes.
Which
I'm
not.
Oh.
No.
Do you know how to read?
Barely. So it's my public school education. Now, as you could tell by the title of whatever this video is going to be titled, it's about weddings. It is about what you should know before having your wedding day, getting married, and like just things that I wish I would have known before mine and Sarah's.
Not together.
We're not married. Yeah. It's just stuff I wish I would
wish
have
we knew
known.
Then. Same.
Yep.
Yeah.
And today's video is also being filmed in front of a live, audience, I guess. Maybe person.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
live person. A living human being.
I'm alive.
With having said that, we're going to just basically give you a bunch of stuff right off the bat so you don't have to watch the whole episode. However, you will miss out if you don't.
Take it or leave it, but you should take it.
Don't have a large bridal party.
Do not have a late ceremony.
Don't do things just because it's tradition. Always at least have a plan. Have a timeline.
Be more intentional with family. Only go talk to every table if that's really what y'all want to do.
Spend time with each other during the wedding day.
Drinking can be fun. All good things in moderation.
Marriage licenses. Who do you want to sign them? Maybe have your grandparents.
Useful, fun party favors. Fun things in the reception, like the limbo.
Portable fans.
Don't sweat the small stuff, guys. It doesn't matter. I promise.
Something will always go wrong. Get a box together for all of your wedding details.
Most important thing throughout the day is absolutely going to be your memories. So make sure that's where your money goes. And strippers.
Do a first look. It's worth it. Write letters. The more, the merrier.
Who has cash anymore? Get a QR code. Unless your grandma's a stripper, she ain't even going to have cash either. That's all I got.
You just really leaned into the strippers at the end.
I don't know.
So don't have a large bridal party.
Yeah. So flashback 7 years ago, myself as a bride, I had 13 bridesmaids and my husband had 13 groomsmen. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just not for it.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I don't even think I have that many friends. So the fact that I did then, I must be becoming a worse person now. But I will say from a bridal perspective, hair and makeup for each person can take so long that when you get these huge bridal parties, I think you envision it being this like fun, super helpful scenario. And normally I feel like it ends up being just delaying your timeline, pushing back family photos, pushing back y'all's photos, and ends up being more of a hindrance. And I think sadly, more times than not. So I've been married 7 years and I'm not good friends with like 90% of those people. And so it put such a delay on my day. And instead of having good photos with my husband or my family, I have all these girls getting ready for like 8 hours and it just kind of set my whole day back a lot. So I'm not 100% for it, but you know, it can work in people's favor, but I think more often does not.
Yeah. And I'd agree with that. I have people that's in my wedding that I really don't even talk too much.
How many did you have?
I think it might have been 7.
Yeah. See?
7.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big as 13, which is quite a lot.
I'm a people pleaser.
But I will say, even with groomsmen, there might not be as much to do with groomsmen as the bridesmaids in terms of getting ready.
Yeah.
But just corralling 13 grown children
yes.
really is what they are.
Yes.
At almost every wedding, it can be a bothersome task.
Yeah, especially when there's too much alcohol involved.
Yeah, and when picking your groomsmen or your bridesmaids, whether you go family or friends, doesn't really matter. That's up to you guys. Yeah. But that's the tip: is don't have a large bridal party if you can avoid it.
Yes. Less is more.
Don't have a late ceremony. And I'm like totally for this. This is kind of a part of the other one with not having a large bridal party. Having a late ceremony natural light is absolutely going to be the
Yeah,
best.
100%.
I've had a large bridal party before where things got so delayed because they wanted to add on first looks and everything else, to the point where I actually had them push the ceremony 15 to 30 minutes
Oh, wow.
back
I'm surprised
because,
they let you.
well,
That's nice.
she couldn't fit everything in that she wanted to. And I was like,
Yeah.
look, take your time.
Yeah.
It's your wedding day. It's whatever you want to do. I already asked everybody else. They're cool with pushing it 15, 30 minutes back. We'll get the first looks done. Totally
Yeah.
fine. And they had their wedding at like 2 or 3.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Yeah. So like pushing it 30 minutes back was
Yeah, no big deal.
super easy. And they had the
Yeah.
venue till like 8 or 9,
Yes.
which, I mean, it was like no brainer. Really
I love
easy.
that. I have so many where I'm not done till like after midnight. And then it's funny because you kind of end up with just like the rowdy crowd for the most part. Anyone over a certain age leaves, and then you just have the really drunk bridal party, which can be fun. But my biggest thing with not having such a late ceremony would just be making sure you have photos that are in the light. I think a lot of people gravitate away from it for either first look reasons or whatever, or just wanting to party late. And they don't have, I know when I did it, I had a 7:30 ceremony. By the time we were done getting married, it was dark and we had not done photos. So we had to do family photos, bridal party photos, and our photos all in flash with a photographer who did not have a lot of knowledge of flash. And I will say, sadly, a lot of photographers don't really have the full knowledge of off and on camera flash that they should. So make sure that you're having a ceremony early enough that you can still have natural light photos or absolutely do a first look.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot more to get through, but just to finish off on not having a late ceremony, if you have it early and you have natural light, you can still get stuff after. Like the wedding I was just referring to where they pushed it back some.
Yeah.
We were able to go, like during the reception, when she had changed into a different outfit, we were able to go back outside and get some really fun stuff with the sun setting.
Yeah.
Like it just gives you so much more room, time to breathe, and it's just, I don't even know how to say it. You just have so much more bandwidth.
Makes it it just makes it a much less stressful day.
The next thing was don't do things just because it's just because it's a tradition. And I feel like super passionate about this.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many weddings that meant so much more because they made it their own.
Yeah. No, it's true. Like I love people that are either, whether it's something simple as not doing a tradition, like not doing a garter or bouquet toss, or just adding a totally new thing to it. So I will say I'm always noticing that mothers of the brides seem to kind of get forgotten. And as a mom of 3, I will say I'm thankful for my husband. He does a lot, but man, moms do a lot too. I'm loving this new thing where brides are doing a first dance with their moms. It's so cute. Wish I did it.
And I mean, tradition it could be anything. Whenever I talk to couples maybe I didn't address this, but I've been doing video for like 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah,
specifically for, I mean, all kinds of different, but specifically weddings, it's been about 7 or 8 years.
A long time.
So like they say, I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
a thing or two.
With traditions, like whenever I talk to any bride, with any couple, there's going to be your ceremony, your reception, walking down the aisle. There's like the common things.
Yeah.
But what makes the wedding unique to you is the couple.
Yeah.
So I've had weddings where instead of doing a money dance, they did a cupcake smashing, which sounds crazy, but I'll never forget it, nor will they. They put a thing out for the bride, a thing for the groom. Whoever had more money in their jar basically got the cupcake smashed in their face. Oh, he definitely took a cupcake to the face.
Good. I would hope that they'd really rally in her corner.
No, they weren't gonna let it happen.
No. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, it didn't. So whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
Tradition could literally be anything.
Yeah.
I've had weddings where the mother, the grandma, and the great grandma all had their dresses from their weddings on display. Some traditions have the dress passed down and the daughter wears it and the daughter's daughter wears it and so on and so forth. But a tradition could literally be anything.
Yeah,
It's whatever you make of it.
Yeah.
And it's really what you're going to remember.
Yeah. I've had ones where they didn't like cake, so instead they did a piñata, and that was cool. And inside of it, there was like tiny liquor bottles and candy and money and lottery tickets, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, I don't mean to like spend so much time on this one, but I'm just so passionate about making it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like at the end of a conversation before booking any wedding, after finishing all like the boring questions of like emails and everything, I always ask them like, is there anything specific that you wanted?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a charm of your grandparents on your bouquet?
Yes.
Did a family member pass away, so you put a picture of them on the front row?
Yeah.
Like, is there anything unique to your wedding that's specific to your relationship?
Yeah.
Like, that makes it your wedding?
Yeah, your life, your love, that, you know.
And the next one would be more intentional with family.
Yes. You know, I think so many people who get married are often in their young 20s, and I think it's such a fun age, but I think you kind of have this very heavily friend presence, and not to say friends aren't always important, but I think we tend to forget about the people who can matter most, which is obviously going to be different for every situation. Obviously, there's strained family relationships out there and things, but I think there are enough situations where it's a healthy family relationship. And, you know, the grandmas just sit in the corner the whole night and they hardly get any love from anybody, or, you know, so just be a little more intentional. Love on the people who have been there since you were, you know, a little nugget, and be there for them and make them know that they matter to day of, even if that's just taking a few minutes aside to like take photos with them, or you know, write the letters as we had mentioned.
And with that being said, just because we have a lot of these to get through, only go talk to every table if that's really what you want to do.
Yes. I see so many weddings where they spend all this money and then they spend the entire wedding just going from table to table, thanking them for being there. My opinion is, if that's what you want to do, do it. But otherwise, no. They need to come see you. I guarantee you that you spent more money on them than they are spending on you. And aside from that, you have ideally one wedding. Enjoy it. If you want to be dancing, be dancing. If you want to be eating. Don't feel like you have to go to each table thanking them for coming, because you can miss your entire wedding like that.
And the next one is spend time with each other. So all these three kind of go hand in hand. So you have both sides of the spectrum. Spend time with each other.
Yeah.
Don't go talk to every table if you want to. If you want to, do it.
Yeah.
You have people pleasers, and then you have people that don't want to please anyone.
Yes.
Just by all means, spend time with the person you're getting married to at your wedding. As a videographer, as a photographer, we want stuff of you guys.
Yeah.
And if you want to go talk to every table, go talk to them. But at the same time, it's your wedding. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Spend time with each other.
Yeah.
Don't go sit in a corner and binge drink.
Yes, with your friends, leaving your bride on the floor all by herself dancing.
Yeah.
It's pretty often I'm like, tell the groom, like, hey, I would like at least a few photos of y'all together.
I'm not even going to say if you want to do that, do that. Just don't
do it.
don't go binge drink in the corner with your friends.
Yes,
go spend some time with your spouse.
I see it. It's always like the guys are like, well, I don't like to dance. Well, just go stand by her and stand still so I can take a photo. Maybe move my camera around so it looks like you're dancing.
Which leads into the next tip is drinking can be fun, but all things in moderation.
Yeah.
I'll even just say this. I've had some weddings where the groom could not make it basically home from their wedding. They were throwing up in the bridal suite and just basically stumbling out the door, stumbling back into the bridal suite because they just couldn't function.
Yeah. So like, don't forget to eat, whether you drink or not. Eat day of, and moderation. I've had ones where they couldn't even make it to the ceremony because they were so drunk before the ceremony. So don't do that.
And just bringing out stories, there was a guy in a wedding who, let's just say
Is it you? Was it you?
It was not me.
Okay.
It was definitely not me.
Was it Brett? Continue.
All right. So there's a guy who basically just got so wasted that he went back to his truck, got a super soaker that for whatever reason, this must have been premeditated. Now
was
that
this
I'm
the
thinking
groom?
No, it wasn't the groom. It was one of his groomsmen. Then I'm thinking about it. He probably planned on this, but he had a super soaker full of Bud Light. And this dude was spraying the ceilings. He was spraying people in the face. I mean, it was just...
What was the reaction from the people getting sprayed? Were they for it or were they upset?
I don't think anybody was doing anything in moderation.
Okay. So they were probably for it.
The next thing is, I guess we're going a little away from kind of the flow of things. It's have your grandparents sign your marriage license.
Yes, I love that. I saw that on social media. And if I'm being honest, I don't even remember who signed my marriage license. So I feel like if you can do someone like your grandparents, that's just so special. And once again, goes back to just giving them a part of your wedding where they feel involved and where it's someone that you're actually going to remember who signed your marriage license, which is very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it may seem insignificant, but a lot of things can get overlooked during your wedding day because it literally happens in a flash. Just make sure it's something you're going to remember who you care about that's actually signing your marriage license. I remember mine. Mine was actually my brother. I don't remember any of the other ones. I just specifically remembered I wanted him.
I'm
Don't
like
know
thinking,
why,
did
but-
I even sign my marriage? Am I married? No, I am. Right.
You've been living a lie.
I did not drink for my wedding, by the way. Just a bad memory.
The next thing is useful party favors.
Yeah. So my husband and I did sunglasses for our wedding party favor, and it was phenomenal because when I tell you everybody was on the dance floor the second we got sunglasses, but it was comical because they were very dark sunglasses. They were like $1 on Amazon, and we were in a very dark venue, so we were all just blind. So everyone was like, "Kid you not," blind dancing. It was the best. Also love when you do like glowing tambourines and glowing little sticks. And we did do one wedding where they gave like costume pieces. So there was like a dinosaur head and it was during Mardi Gras.
That's
and
awesome.
It was so much. No, it just brings out people because, you know, oftentimes you either need alcohol or a fun event to get people on the dance floor. And I will say nothing is more boring of a wedding than when nobody's on the dance floor, respectfully. I shoot a lot of weddings. If nobody's out there, your album is going to be half the size because I will have 2-3 hours of nobody doing anything, versus there are things that you can do to really kind of ensure people are going to be out there having a good time, something unique, spices it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're kind of just waiting for the to the right.
Yes. And then the second those line dances are over, people just run away.
You're pretty much just waiting for line dances. That's it.
Yeah.
I've even had party favors that were, it was a beach wedding, so the party favor was sandals. So they had just like a big bucket of just all the
nice.
like flip flops, which was
I
super
thought
cool.
you were going to say the party favor was sand. I was like, that's so nice. Don't forget, this was from our feet at our wedding. You're welcome.
No, I'd rather the flip flops.
Rather flip flops.
The next thing is adding things like a limbo or throwing Mardi Gras beads.
Yeah.
And or like a second line, something like that.
We literally just pulled a broomstick out of the closet at our wedding and limboed, and it was so much fun.
That sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I've actually filmed weddings where they had specific. It wasn't a coordinator. It was basically like an entertainer who came in and just had. He was just basically providing entertainment for the entire thing. He was trying to get people onto the dance floor. They did break
like a hype
dancing.
man?
Pretty much.
So like Brett, is that our Brett?
That's our Brett,
Although-
I guess.
Brett, hype us up more.
The next thing is have a portable fan.
Yes, I cannot say this one enough. Few ways you can use it as a lady. Number 1, bouquet, fan. During family photos, it can tuck right behind your bouquet. You won't even know. Number 2, ladies, under your dress. During family photos, you won't move that much, I promise. If you have a good photographer, we set your dress, set your veil. That is where you stay. Stick a fan under your dress. You will thank me later. You're welcome.
I would have never known.
Oh, also on that note, wear underwear. I get girls that don't wear underwear because they think you'll see it, and then there's nothing to catch the sweat. Sorry, guys, if that's a little gross for you, but ladies, do yourself a favor. Save yourself all the moistness, wetness, and wear undies.
I'm just saying, it may be gross to some people, but I'm glad I had you on because I would have never come up with that.
Yeah, no, I had, because I'm specifically thinking of it because it was like literally 2 weeks ago, and my bride did not, and she was getting really flustered. I was like, what's wrong? And she told me she did not put on anything and that her sweat was just making its way down south. So ladies, wear underwear. You're welcome.
I guess following into the next thing, it kind of flows well, is that something will always go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It'll never be perfect.
Never perfect.
It's probably another one of my favorite things to tell brides, because that's usually who you talk to. It's usually the brides that are planning everything. The groom just kind of shows up, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But something will always go wrong.
Yeah.
The best way I could say this is the 4 steps to making any plan. You make the plan, you execute the plan, you expect the plan to go off the rails, and then you throw away the plan.
That was a lot to remember. That was impressive.
Just 4 steps,
I
you know?
I like
Make it, execute,
Yes.
expect it to go off the rails, and then just throw it away.
Yes. Like my wedding day, I said, I don't care what anything looks like. I just said, I have to look good, respectfully. Hair and makeup, they did good. The groom has to show up. and the officiant has to show up. I was like, other than that, doesn't matter.
Yeah, your bouquet
Yeah.
could not show up.
Yeah.
Your cake could not get delivered.
I did forget my shoes for my wedding.
Yeah,
And
I
did
was
get
I was
married.
actually about to say you could forget your shoes.
Forget your shoes.
Happened to my wife. She forgot her shoes.
Did she also?
She was crying for about 10 to 20 minutes.
We could be friends.
I'm pretty sure we are, but you know,
No, with
whatever.
her.
But yeah, it could literally be anything.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll throw this up for reference. It was a super cute moment. The cake did not get delivered, kind of a small wedding, and they basically went to a local grocery store, got a cake, and it was in this like dimly lit spot, and it was just like nothing pretty, but
No, it makes me think.
whenever they went to go cut the cake,
Yeah.
they ended up like smashing each other in the face. The cake even fell over, but it ended up being this like I said, make your own tradition.
Make your own, and you make the moment whatever it is.
Yeah, make it your thing.
Yeah.
It ended up being this like for me because videos about movement. It was like this super cute thing. It was able to throw into the video. I loved it personally. They loved it. They had a good time.
It makes me think of this video I saw, and it looked like a very expensive wedding, and they were bringing out this absolutely massive like 4 or 5 tier cake, and the servers dropped it, and you see the bride just instantly and the groom just starts like laughing about it, and he starts picking up some pieces off the ground that like were not on the ground because it was such a tall cake, and eating it and just like laughing, and her whole mood changed and everyone laughed, and it ended up being just like this memory and went viral. And it's really one of those just rolling with the punches kind of moments, because stuff like that will happen, and are you going to let it break your day or just let it become a funny memory?
Yeah, I mean it's literally what you make of it.
Yeah.
What's that quote? Make the most of your wedding day, or I guess make the most of your life because you won't get out of it alive.
Yes. What is it? Is something like that. No one
Which
gets,
is
no one gets out.
kind of what we just talked about. Don't sweat the small stuff. The next one is
because you die. Anyways.
Yes, because you die.
Don't forget it.
The next thing is to get a box together for all your details, and this one is like super important. I say certain ones are super important, and this one is.
Yeah, no, it is.
Like maybe a week before, when you're like stressing out about stuff because like, hey, everything needs to be set in stone. I'm about to get married this week.
Yeah.
Get a box of just all your details. Just a regular box. Doesn't matter where you get it from. Just get a box. Put your invitation in there because it usually gets forgotten.
That's the one.
And I'll say it like this. As a videographer, the first thing I do when I get to a wedding is I always go and introduce myself to the bride. I might have not seen her before. We might have just talked on the phone. Always say, hey, how's it going? Kind of get a lay of the land.
Yeah.
And then, hey, where's the rings? Where's your invitations? Is your bouquet here?
Yeah.
You're the bride, groom, you're focused on getting married. Everything should be set in stone at this point. So I usually get the maid of honor or something like that to help me. But having a box of your shoes, rings, earrings, bouquet,
any jewelry, any special
anything,
sentiments, grandparents' photos. And that's what I tell people. I said, don't sweat what you have as details too much, because some people have, hey, I just want the rings and the bouquet, but whatever you have it all together, because I've had situations where some of it was in the groom's suite and he was in another place and the door was locked or whatever it looked like. So have it all together. Make sure you have a ring box. Don't expect your photographer to bring one, because chances are it won't match your invitation, and men's fingers size vary greatly. So I used to try to fit these like fat little freaking rings into my little tiny box. Just make sure you have your own ring box.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
If you have that box of details together, it's just one less thing to think about.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of weddings where they didn't have that invitation, and invitations could literally be something that they just made in like some free software online, or they could have paid literally hundreds of dollars.
I know, and had
for
like really
invitations.
pretty and matches all your bows and stuff, and then you forget your invitation, and that's a super bummer.
Or somebody remembered to bring it, but it's all wrinkly. And if you have a box of all those details, it's just one less thing you have to think about.
And you can go all out. You can do like, they have fun ribbon now and stamps and all kinds of things.
And we're gonna look for the same things. The photographer, videographer, we both want it. Like
Both want
sometimes the photographer might set it up, videographer comes in and just gets some shots of it, or vice versa. But we're looking for the same stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
The next thing is flats or heel inserts. And I'll probably throw something up on the screen if you're watching this. We want beautiful shots of the bride and groom together,
Yeah.
photo and video. And if you're wearing heels and you have to walk into the grass or whatever it is, it's just not, or rocks, whatever it is, it's just not going to be fun.
Yeah.
But, and I'll have to go find the photo of this, but there's a little
So it like
insert.
makes you not sink in the grass?
Yeah, it's a little insert you can put on
What?
the back of the heel to where instead of being this dagger you can kill someone with.
Oh, but also
It-
useful.
Yeah, it makes it flat so that way you can walk if you have heels on.
Wow. Kind of like
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, you don't have to
Grass.
take them off and go barefoot.
That's great.
The most important thing out of this entire list,
The most important?
the absolutely most, like, number
Dun,
one
dun,
thing, we
dun.
probably should have started with it and
Oh.
maybe we'll change it in the edit, but the most important thing is your memories. And whatever you need to do, spend money on memories. And of course, it could sound biased coming from somebody who's doing video or photo, because that's the two most popular things when it comes to your
Mhm.
memories is photo and video.
Yeah.
I mean, one's still and then one's moving
Yeah.
with audio. But how that's captured is one thing, but also be creative. I've had brides who have encased their bouquets or flowers in resin.
I love that.
They shadow box dresses.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to preserve your memories is going to be the absolutely most important
Yeah.
thing. You
No,
won't
it's so true.
remember. I mean, I remember how much I spent for flowers and the
Yeah.
money side of things. But the more important thing is the memories that you
Mhm.
spend throughout the day.
Yeah. And so often, one thing I've learned is the money is going to get spent one way or the other. So make sure, as you said, it's going to go to something that lasts. I know for myself, whenever I got married, we paid for our own wedding. I was not a photographer yet. And so I very much budgeted everything. Like I got my dress off eBay, $400. What's up? Made my flowers from Hobby Lobby, 50% off. They're very ugly. At least get your bridal bouquet professionally done. I can say that. But I spent very little on my photographer and none on a videographer. But meanwhile, I spent like $3,000 getting strung lights. And now I regret it so much because I have no video, really ugly photos. But thank God I had those strung lights, man. They look so good. So definitely make sure you're allocating your money and being intentional on, like you said, what's going to last. And that, like you said, can definitely go above photo and video to preserving your flowers, your dress. I never got mine dried cleaned. It's like, I think just looks tie-dye with wine hanging in my closet.
Writing letters to each other, stuff like that. Like that's all memories.
Yeah. That's
Like I
sweet.
can't remember what I said just like 30 minutes ago.
I know. Did
But
you
if
write your vows?
We did.
Oh, do you have them written down?
I don't remember where they're at. They're probably a box in the attic.
We
But
have
I
them
treat it the
written
same
down.
way as my video, at least once a year for my anniversary. I always go back and
Aw.
watch it.
Yeah. Well, that's another story another time. But yes, we have ours written down and framed, and but they're long vows. We did like 3 pages each front and back, which is believable for me, but not so much for my husband. So
Yeah, and
good job, Mark.
I don't mind spending a little longer on this because it's just so important.
Yeah.
And also with video, it could be done so different. Like photography, everybody says I'm a photographer and they all take photos.
Yeah.
How they're edited, the camera, the style, that all varies, the
Yeah.
personality of the photographer.
Yeah.
But even more so in video, like you have different films, some are better, some are worse, some
Yeah.
are subjective to whether they're good or bad.
Yeah.
It's the same for weddings.
Yeah.
Somebody could call it a wedding film, but it's like 3 minutes long. Or it could be like 7 minutes long,
Yeah.
or as even as long as 15. But some people call that a highlight. Some people call that a wedding film.
Yeah.
All different terminology.
Yeah.
The number one thing you want to look for when it comes to like getting memories in terms of video is really their packages. Do your research. So I do something called a FOMO edit, a fear of missing out edit, where it's all the footage that I take, minus all like the shaky, unusable stuff.
Unusable, yeah.
If I have 2 cameras, I'll basically cut it all into one big timeline, whether it's 2 hours.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do a rough edit of the ceremony, and it's just I mean, the reception doesn't have much audio to it because sometimes it kind of gets blown out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the point is it's a fear of missing out. So
Yeah.
I have all of my wedding footage. I don't always go back and watch however long it
Everything.
is,
Yeah.
but I have certain sections of it that I really wanted to see.
Yeah.
So if the videographer offers all the unedited footage or something like a FOMO edit,
That's nice.
yeah, go for that. You don't even have to have it.
So many I know don't do that. Like, that's an awesome thing.
Yeah, you don't have to have a
Yeah.
highlight or a teaser, that little like 1
Yeah, this,
minute
like,
video.
perfect film. Like, just
Yeah,
show me what
you
was
have
happening.
your memories.
Yeah.
Another reason I do it that way is, let's say the couple is 18 or 19 or 20 and they're getting married super young.
Yeah, I've had it.
Or maybe they're 30, or maybe they just don't have much money.
Yeah.
I have it to where it's a more affordable option.
Yeah.
It's a lot less for me to like go into a stylized edit,
like a film style.
but it gives them all of the footage and they can have it edited. I don't even care if it's by somebody else.
Yeah.
They can have it edited later on in the future to have something more stylized. Normally they don't, because like I said, the most important thing is your memories.
Yeah. No, I love that though. I wish I would have known about you when I got married.
Well, there's,
Man.
like I said, all videographers do it different.
Yeah.
That's just how I found what works best.
Yeah. No,
Gives
that's
people
a
options.
nice option because some people just want to see it on video and they don't need this film cinematic amazing masterpiece. They just want to see stuff from their wedding. I like that.
Yeah, and if they have a ceremony cut, maybe that's really important to you. I've had brides that are like, look, I don't care about much, but the wedding is like what I care about.
Yeah.
The ceremony, I want a
Yeah.
full cut of that. But we'll
Yeah.
have like 3 or 4 cameras, all the different angles, audio from the officiant and the groom, the soundboard. That way we can give you a really good ceremony cut.
Yeah. Makes me think of when our parents got married in like the 80s and they would just put those really big camcorders with like the VHS, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Are you too young to
There's
know about that?
No, I mean, there's a lot of value to that though.
Oh, no, I love it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
love it. And it's like the full ceremony and,
People neglect it because it's not as sexy as like a highlight film or a teaser trailer or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But that's what the FOMO edit is.
Yeah.
Getting all the unedited footage. If you
I
can
like
pay
it.
for that, or if the videographer doesn't offer it, don't go with them.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Just, you need options. And to move on, because I get excited about memories because it's just absolutely that important.
Memories.
Do a first look. It's worth it.
Yeah. I did not do a first look. My husband and I didn't even live together before we got married. And I was so adamant against it. And I always tell people who I'm going back and forth with it is I have never had somebody who didn't want to do one and did do one regret it. But I have had multiple people who didn't want to do it and did not do it and did regret it. It makes such a more seamless day when you can I don't want to say knock it out because it takes away the sentiment of it, but it's not a knock it out thing. You're not going to lose that emotion. I get so many girls that say, oh, you're not going to give me the same, heartfelt reaction. Quite the contrary. I think you get more of a reaction because you're not being watched by a million eyes. You're going to be able to actually talk to each other. You spend all day getting ready, not talking to each other. And then if you don't do a first look, you go down the aisle and then you don't even get to talk to each other then. But this is you see each other, you get like a real genuine reaction. You get to talk about how are you feeling? I'm nervous. I can't wait to marry you. All of those things. And then you can also do a good bit of your photos before ceremony. That way, after ceremony, you can take time just for y'all. Bridal party's done. Family's done. Just have a few, a little bit of golden hour. So after ceremony, you're not taking hours doing photos, missing your reception, having your guests miss you. Cannot stress first look enough. I think that's the most important one. Do the first look.
Well, the number one reason I think most people don't do a first look is because they want to follow tradition.
Yeah.
And it's also like he's not going to be as emotional.
That's what I always hear. He's not going to be emotional.
But I tell you what, every single wedding day I've ever filmed for the past 7 to 8 years,
Yeah.
I ask the bride and groom the same thing every single time, outside of just how you guys met, because that's always interesting.
Of course, yes.
But it's, are you nervous? Everybody asks you that. And everybody will ask you that during your wedding day. Are you nervous? How you feeling? Are you nervous? Are you nervous? Are you
Yeah.
nervous? And it gets, whatever.
Yeah.
But every single time, the nerves don't hit till you are about to walk down the aisle and you're waiting there. And sometimes they still don't. It varies person by person. But 90% of the time, until you're about to walk down the aisle and you're like, wow, what am I committing to right now?
Yeah.
What am I doing with my
Yeah.
life? What is going on? It's
Yeah.
just, this is a blur.
Yeah, 100%.
I am
I was fine
disassociating.
all day and until it was like time to go down. And it's kind of comical because I had like a super tight corset dress because that was in then. Thank you. And we were actually sitting in a car before I went down the aisle because I got married. So cinematic. There was like a hill and he thought I was coming from the side, but I was coming from over the hill. Very Braveheart, minus all the death. And so I was sitting in a car to keep me in the AC.
You were on it with these good movies.
Thank you. I am a nerd. And so I was sitting down with this tight corset, and whenever I got up, it took away. So aside from like my nerves and just being like, oh my gosh, and breathing so hard and sitting and it like being very tight in my lungs, I actually almost passed out walking down the aisle. I was hyperventilating. I was like, and I could not catch my breath. And I just remember my dad being like, Sarah, breathe. And I was like, sad part is I am the ugliest crier. So every photo of me down the aisle, it's like it's so bad. So those are my photos.
Yeah, and in your first look, it makes the day go so much easier, calms the nerves, and ladies who are listening to this, because most men I would imagine if they see things you should know before your wedding day or that, nope, skip. I'm gonna skip past that one.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So when you're watching this, you know your spouse, you know who you're with, you know if they're gonna get emotional or not. Like he's a big crybaby or he's not.
Yeah.
It's like yes or no. It's one of it's black or white.
Yeah, 100%. And I will say, whatever you get, I normally get it again both times, because whenever I have my bride do the first look, I always make sure they have this little bit of gap from, okay, we do your first look, we're doing photos. All right, y'all need to go take 30 minutes away. Go pee, go freshen your makeup, go like get those nerves. And then when the ceremony happens and there's the music and all that stuff, if they cried before, 90% of the time they cry again. And oftentimes guys don't give the same reaction in the aisle, because as I said, think about it when you go to a wedding and the bride comes out to go down. Sorry, brides, for a second, people look at you, and then what do they instantly do? They look at the groom. What's he doing? What's his reaction? And if there's any type of groom that's aware of people around them, that can make you nervous. I'd be nervous.
Yeah, I'll say for my wedding, I didn't know whether I should or shouldn't cry. I didn't know whether I wanted to or whether I didn't want to.
Were you aware of people looking at you? Like, do you remember that?
I don't even remember the moment because it was just so fast, and I was thinking was like, cry, don't cry, cry, don't cry.
Did you feel like you had to cry?
I didn't know. I still don't know.
So confused.
What are these emotions? I don't know what I'm feeling.
No, people get like mad if the guys don't cry. It's like, you do need to show something. I've had ones like, I will say you don't have to physically show a tear, but if there's no emotion on your face, I'm like, leave him, run. Like I've had ones where they were like young and they were getting married, and I think it was just because they already had a kid together, and she was walking down and he looked mad. Like when she was walking down, he was like, I was like, like the whole wedding. So I think they're still together. So good for you guys.
Yeah, maybe
keep it
worked out. Well, the next one is, and we only have 2 more left. Write letters. The more, the merrier. We may have mentioned it earlier, but you can write a letter to the bride or groom, but you can also write it to their parents and your parents or your maid of honor or whoever it is. Write letters. They mean so much, and you don't even have to see them.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like super long.
Yeah, it could just be short and sweet, but just receiving something is better than receiving nothing at the end of the day.
I know. Like, hey, I love you. Thanks for raising this amazing man. Can't wait to call you my mom.
Yeah, I mean, you're marrying into the family. It's super important. And if you're watching this, don't know what situation you are marrying into.
True.
Or,
True, yeah.
But they are responsible for raising the person that you are about to marry. So it's super important.
And even if that's like an aunt or, a grandparent or a friend, just take that time to thank the people that
it's respectful. It's sweet. It's memorable. You're making it's just something to, like I said, your memories are the most important thing. Yeah. And that goes a long way with them. They'll always remember that.
No, it's so true. And I wouldn't even say like totally stress about having photo and video capture that, because sometimes I have brides who are super sentimental like that and they want it all captured, but we can only do so much. So I will say, don't feel like that has to be something that gets seen. Just do it just because that's something that lasts forever. Yeah. And it's very sweet.
I'd second that. I mean, it's kind of like gifts. You don't always have to have it on video or photo. Yes. But having it is better than not having it. And I'm glad you mentioned it that way, because for video, I'll suggest when they read their vows, let's just say for the bride, for instance, I have her read her own, and then I also have her read his. Typically, I have her read hers out loud, so that way in the video, I can have her reading her voice Kind of like when the groom is like,
Yeah.
ever since I was a little girl, and it just doesn't sound right.
Ah,
And when they're reading it silently, and you're literally pointing a camera at them,
yeah.
they have a little bit more peace when they're reading it quietly to
Yeah.
themselves.
Oh, I like that better. And that's
I've
cute.
even had it to where they're so nervous on camera, they were like, I don't want it filmed. I
Yeah.
just, I said,
Yeah.
you know
I
what?
get that.
Here's the recorder. You go into the room by yourself. It's already recorded. You can just read it out loud. You can read it quiet. It's on you.
I love that.
And you give them and it's literally up to you. It's whatever you want.
It'd be funny if they went into the bathroom and started reading it, and you just hear like, just kidding.
I don't even know where she was going with that. We'll just go.
There's a story behind that, and
No, go ahead.
Wait, no, I have a different story. This is gonna take us off track for a second, but you just have to hear this,
Go
and
for
you can
it.
cut this out.
No, go for it.
So I worked with a videographer like 3 weeks ago, and she was telling me how she mic'd up the groom, and the groom forgot that he was mic'd up and was back talking with the groomsmen, and he was saying how he needed to tell her before he married her what had happened at the bachelor party. And apparently he had cheated on her with the stripper before the wedding. True story. And all this was on video, or rather on the mic. And so the videographer ended up taking that audio and mailing it to the bride after. So I don't know what came of that. But yeah, so remember when you're mic'd up, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
Did that take a terrible turn?
I've had a second shooting with me, and they had a headset on, and they were just I had just hooked up the officiant,
Yeah.
who was I guess religious. I have no idea. I would assume not. I don't know. Maybe whatever. But they're mic'd up, and the type of audio that I use, it doesn't start recording till I start recording,
Mhm.
as in like it's going into the actual camera.
Yeah.
But I'm not like saving anything
Yeah.
unless I'm actually hitting record.
Right.
Well, the officiant was just cursing up a storm.
Golly.
Yeah, just like blankety, 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 blank, 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 blank.
Ugh.
And like personally, I don't care. I'm just gonna like throw away all that stuff. All I care about is the meat and potatoes, the actual ceremony once it starts.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you're mic'd, you're mic'd.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
And you'll forget.
Be aware.
But yeah, I guess if you're watching this, leave in the comments what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
If
We'd
you
like to
are
know.
that bride or groom.
Yeah.
Or videographer, dude, one of them. Just let us know, because I want to know the story.
Because she was like, I didn't know if I should tell them beforehand. What would you have done? Would you have told them beforehand?
I don't know. I don't even want to be in that situation.
I know,
That's
but
a
like if you
terrible
heard it right
situation to be
before
in.
I don't know. If I knew her, I would tell her. If I didn't know her, I wouldn't tell her. But I don't even know if I would have told her after.
I'd probably and not to get too off topic, but I'd probably address the groom and be like, "Hey, dude, you should probably you guys need to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is your
It's
marriage,
a big one.
and you definitely did wrong. So it's up to her
Yeah.
about what she wants to do. But
She should have the full.
you should do this, and it's on video, and you should do it. You should be a man." And
Yeah. I
take
feel like it's
ownership of
easier
it
to like
and do it.
man to man say that though.
Yeah, that's why why
Yeah.
I'm saying I would tell him, because
Yeah.
it should be on him to.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So there's your TED Talk of the day.
Yeah, don't know where. Yep. All right. Next one and last one
Last
is
one.
get a QR code.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna have cash, so everybody has Venmo, Cash App, whatever it is. There's some kind of money on their digital device that they can give you for
Yes.
your wedding,
For your money dance. So important.
or
So few people have
cupcake
cash.
smashing, or whatever
Whatever
it
it
is that you're
is.
doing.
If you're doing anything where they can give you money, and you should.
Yeah, it could cover the cost of your videographer, your photographer, your
Honeymoon.
bouquet, your honeymoon, whatever it is you're doing. It could help quite a lot.
Yes.
There's even been brides and grooms and nowadays after the wedding, sometimes they go and have an after party, which
yeah. Like super common.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, but it does make sense in a way, because I get it. You're having fun. You want to celebrate with
Yeah.
me personally. I just want to go home.
Wanna go
It's a
home.
long day.
Yeah.
Some brides and grooms, with all the cash that they had, you're supposed to celebrate your wedding night, right? Well, sometimes you get there and you're like, do we want to do this first, or do we want to count the money?
Oh, I gave it to my mother-in-law,
This
and we
or
trusted
money?
her to like cash it up because we left for our honeymoon the next day. So like anything that was cash, she like gave to us. Anything that was like checks, she deposited for us. So I say, especially if you're drinking, have someone like responsible in charge of that.
Yeah, and I've even I also had it to where during a reception they thought it was fun to take all the money that they were going to give them and then just throw it up in the air because they were partying,
Oh yeah.
and then everybody's like scrounging around trying
I
to
was like,
grab.
did they get the money back?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like,
I picture like my children coming and be like, oh, $5. Bye.
yeah, and different cultures do it different. So like,
Yeah.
it's not all money dances. But either way,
Yeah.
have a QR code. Give them a way to actually be able to give you money.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing in. I think that's the first thing in business is like make it easy for somebody to pay you.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm still always thrown off whenever I go to a business and they only accept like cash or one other form of payment. I'm like, you do know it's 2024. Let me help you.
And that is it in terms of everything we wish we would have known before our weddings or stuff we think you should know before having your wedding. And if you were interested in seeing kind of behind the scenes of what it looks like to film for video, you can look up Mountain Stone Media. I just filmed a BTS behind the scenes. First one I've ever done. It's been like 7 or 8 years, and I just kind of went for it.
Can't wait to watch it.
But it'll give you a pretty good idea of, you know, what it's like actually having video instead of just like literally when you think of looking up for a videographer, you probably just search on Google or think of the whatever friend or cousin you know that wants to get into it. But yeah, it'll at least give you a good idea kind of behind the scenes of what it might look like.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's Mountain Stone Media, and I want to give them the ability to kind of look you up, see
to
some of
find
your
me,
work.
Sarah, 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 Moss Photography. I'm on Facebook because I'm old, Instagram, TikTok, not on Twitter. What is it? It's like, is Twitter still Twitter or is Twitter X now?
It's
Yeah,
X.
I've never been on that.
I still call it Twitter, but it's X.
Yeah, that's weird. But no, I'm not on that. Sorry.
But yeah, with that being said, I think you travel.
I do travel. I will actually be in Mackinac Island next week. I was in Tennessee last week, so call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
Love that.
Do you not know what that's from?
No, I loved it. I just didn't know how to take that because that was awesome.
Sorry.
But with that being said, we're both based out of Louisiana.
Yeah.
If you want to look her up, she does great work.
Thanks,
and with that
you
being
too.
said, we thank you guys for watching because literally I couldn't do this without you. I know it may just be a number on the screen, but you watching is the reason to keep doing this. And I truly appreciate it. Every single time, I think I finished almost all of my videos with this because literally without you, it is impossible. It would just be me talking to myself.
Which he does do anyways, so we're thankful someone can watch him talk to himself. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Like the camera, you're a person, but right now you are a camera to me. Besides Brett. Brett's great.
I've been talking to Brett this whole time.
But with that being said, if you like this or learn from it, I know I did personally, just from Sarah.
Thank you.
Feel free to subscribe. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.